everything set up. I think we almost have everything set up by now. Oh, my goodness gracious. Here we are on a New Year's Eve. Okay, so we got everything set up. Here we go with the Sam Cam set up over here. We have YouTube set up over here. And we are broadcasting live here, broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. It's ridiculous. You know, I thought these people are music professionals and they've done stuff before. It would be interesting if I were to sit there and call somebody up, like I said, while they were on the phone giving an interview on Instagram, and then all of a sudden it starts glitching out. Goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. If I end up speaking to that individual, they end up calling up, man. They're going to get it for sure. So here we go. So I'm going to sit there and I'm going to go to the phones here in just a few moments. But once again, before I go to the phones, I do want to sit there and let everybody know that I am here broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. And once again, so here we are at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on Twitter. And so it's Sam Newsman here on Instagram. There's the Sam Cam right up over there. We got the YouTube camera right up over here. Hopefully no one's going to be able to calling me up now on my phone while I'm trying to actually broadcast live. Goodness gracious, good grief. Okay, so here we're going to get to the phones here in just a second. Like I said, these are the top toys of 2022. And I'll be giving my top 5 toys here in just a few moments. We call that a tease in the radio business. But what I need to be doing right now is figuring out how I'm juggling all these chainsaws as I'm trying to get things all situated here. But I do have a caller here on the phone. Like I said, 804-289-UR90. 804-289-8790. Want to hear what everyone's top toys of 2022 is. And once again, shout out to everybody in the chat. We have, like I said, the chat over here on Instagram and the chat over here on YouTube. Caller, you are live here with the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell. State your name, of course, and where are you calling from?
Hello, Sam. This is DFS calling.
Oh, good. Exactly. That's exactly good. I'm glad that you called back. We had a bunch of snafus going on just a few moments ago. I'm not sure exactly what was happening. Things were going bananas. Of course, I'm probably going to blame it all on Lord Blanket. Was it all your fault back there? Listen, I don't want to, of course I know that you have access to the advertising at the top of the hour, but are you going to start messing things up? You're going to take control over the board again? Listen, I'm already blaming, Jerm and everybody in the back. And then all of a sudden people calling in, giving his government name. Now he's all giddy and happy that his name was finally actually said on the radio. Goodness gracious. Anyway, so here I have DFS here live with me on the radio. DFS being what a lot of people might say as the disgruntled employee, disgruntled contractor, I believe is what has been going around on the interwebs. A pretty big story that ended up breaking this week, and that story was that the supposed next HasLab was going to be the Dragonfly, the G.I. Joe Dragonfly. That has now been confirmed as not the case from Hasbro, from what we are getting with our reports. But we do have the person who was responsible, so the supposed person responsible for said leak on the phone. That would be DFS. DFS, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, Sam. Good morning to
Yes.
yourself.
Happy New Year's Eve. Hope you've had a wonderful year. And now I do know that you have a little something prepared. Oh my goodness gracious. What in the heck? I am so tired of the fact that Collecting Classics is trying to hold on just a moment, DFS. Hold on just a moment. Collecting Classics tries to call my phone again, and then all of a sudden messes things up. I'm going to start calling his phone when he's going to give me just a moment, DFS, because now everything is going bananas. So it is now going bananas. He's now, oh my goodness gracious. What is his problem? You would think that somebody with a background would not call in and then mess up the feed. Collecting Classics, terrible. Collecting Classics, terrible. If you are following him, goodness gracious, I might have to tell you to unfollow him because he can't even work the damn phone right. Hold on just a moment, DFS. I have to sit there and reset this stream. Hang on just a moment. Oh my gosh. Goodness gracious. Hold on just a moment, DFS. Let me see if I can get this right. Okay, I think we're back. So Collecting Classics, if you're there watching, don't call my phone. Don't call the phone that is broadcasting. Call up the radio station That is 804-289-UR90, 804-289-8790. But you're going to do that after DFS is off the phone. Goodness gracious. My God, man. Oh, my goodness. This is radio issues. So collecting classics, you will call the radio station. I sent you the number on your phone. 804-289-UR90, 804-289-8790. Now, I think we're back live and the feed is good now. We're here broadcasting live on Instagram, broadcasting live on, audio issues again. You know why there's audio issues collecting classics? Is because you keep calling my damn phone. He's sitting there texting audio issues. Let me see. Hold on. I might have to reset this again. If someone's there texting, can someone text him in the feed? See, it is glitching. Yeah, no wonder. Of course it's glitching. Hang on just a moment, DFS. This is what happens with live radio. This is insane. Can't hear a thing. Hold on just a moment. Let's see here. I apologize, DFS. Just give me one moment. Let me see here. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's see. Let me see if I can text him directly. See if that'll happen. Let's see. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Where is he? There you go. Let's see here. All right, so let's see. Let's see. Stop calling my phone. It is messing up the show. Oh my gosh. My goodness gracious. Okay. Jesus. All right, let's see here. To get this back up on the road again, let's see here. Like I said, I apologize, everybody, for this happening. Let's see if we can get this going on. Okay. My goodness gracious. Once again, broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM. From the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday morning. So I just sat there and texted collecting classics because he keeps calling my phone. And it would be interesting if he had somebody on his phone and he was broadcasting, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just kept calling his phone. The phone number to the station is 804-289-UR90. 804-289-8790. Now, I do have, once again, the disgruntled Hasbro contractor, at least that's what's being said, DFS, and he will be giving us his monologue. So DFS on standby. So just once again, at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman here on YouTube. So let me give DFS the floor for his monologue. So let's see here. DFS, if you're still there, I want you to take it away.
Okay, yeah, I'm still here. Toy collectors, I'm sorry. I don't want to be a CEO. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I'd like to help everyone, if possible. Religious man, adults, black man, white man, and puppets. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate or despise one another. In this world, there is room for everyone. And the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Hasbro has poisoned a man's soul and barricaded the world with hate and goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. The HasLab that gives us abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical. Our cleverness hard and unkind. We pose too much and we play too little. More than Hasbro, more than HasLab, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, toys will be violent and all will be lost. The internet and online communities have brought us closer together. The very nature of 3D prints cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world. Millions of despairing man-children, adults, puppets, and little children. Victims of a Hasbro that makes men torture and chastise innocent people. In the 17th chapter of Luke, it is written, the kingdom of God is within man children, not one adult, nor a group of man-childs, but in all man-children. In you, the people, the power to create 3D prints, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make toys free and beautiful, to make the next HasLab a wonderful adventure. Then, in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new Hasbro and a decent world that will give man-children a chance to play, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They will not fulfill that promise. They never will. G.I. Joes and Cobras, Autobots and Decepticons, Valorians and Rulons. In the name of free will, let us all unite against the enemy.
Well done, well said, well said. And once again, DFS, the supposed leaker of the HasLab Dragonfly that was all over the internet this week. That was an amazing monologue, DFS, amazing monologue. And you know what? I commend you for including puppets. And the reason why I say that is because here I am always trying to get my pronouns correct on all this social media, and I never have the word puppet that's available to me. You know, it's very upsetting. So I want to commend you for at least including puppets, because I can't seem to get puppet being a pronoun that I can put on my social media. So thank you for at least including puppets as well. Now, given that amazing speech, that amazing monologue that you just presented, one of the things that I did want to talk about this morning and ask questions about is the brouhaha over the HasLab Dragonfly. So the HasLab Dragonfly supposedly was supposed to be one of the next HasLab productions or pieces that Hasbro was going to release. Now, word is that that you were disgruntled employee, and what we want to do is we want to set the record straight. I want to give you the floor here. I want you to take us a little bit of a play-by-play. Now, no names given, no names mentioned. But exactly what was your, I guess, how were you connected to this project, and what led to the fallout of the project not coming to fruition as announced by Hasbro, I believe, the other day?
Okay. Well, I was to work with another individual who was in touch with Hasbro, and they asked me to help them on this project. So in return, we were to become business partners, and I was supposed to get joint credit for my contributions, and also recognition from Hasbro that I was participating in the project. And well, this said individual began arguing with members of our community. And um, threats were made against several members of our community, and my partner asked me to silence them and to prevent them from going to his employer, Hasbro, and letting him know that certain threats were made where violence would be carried out at a certain convention. And well, it didn't sit good in my heart that I had to silence my friend. And also, there was a project I was working very hard on, and he wanted to present it to Hasbro as well. So once I had watermarked that project with my email address, all of that changed. And I was told that I would not get recognition and that I was to silence my friend. So on Christmas Day, I decided to leak the information to the public and shoot the dragonfly before it reached the sky.
So here was what happened. So if I can just recap that, you were connected with an individual, you were supposed to get credit, and then at a certain point, you were no longer going to get credit, and so the fallout happened there, and so when it did come out that Hasbro was no longer going to be making this project, um, I guess the next question is that what is your next step, because you are a creator who creates 3D prints as well. So I'm sure that you are not going to stop creating 3D prints and still be working on your own creative projects. My question is that now, with this all coming down and being broadcasted on many different channels, many different toy channels, people speculating, what is going to be next for you? And is there anything that you'd want to say to kind of correct the record about being disgruntled and blah, 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 and any of that stuff?
Yes, my next step is to keep creating wonderful designs that everyone loves with the input of the community, and hopefully find somebody who can begin to produce also continue my Diaclone subline under Works Omnizone, and my G.I. Joe and Dino Rider designs under Real American Design. And as to the disgruntled employee comments, all I have to say is that I was not an employee of Hasbro, and I was never disgruntled because I never argued with anyone. I made this decision because I had to preserve my integrity and honesty with my friends and the community, and not give in to false hopes that maybe I would work with Hasbro.
Well, that was well articulated, well said. It's commendable that you're able to come in and then talk about this, like I said, because there has been a lot of information being thrown around the internet all over the place. And so one of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to give you the floor. I wanted to ask exactly what happened and have you, as the person who was the one who leaked the information, just the floor on a broadcast signal. Now, a lot of times people don't know this, but we are broadcasting live on radio, WDCE 90.1 FM. We are broadcasting live here on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on Instagram. And we are also broadcasting live here on YouTube. So I did want to just have you on to set the record straight, clarify everything, and like I say, if because when someone says that hey, this person's that, this person's this, and I have the ability to get said individual on to correct the record, something that I would want to do. And so I like I said, commend you for coming on, and commend you for sticking up for yourself and not worrying about the fact that there might be any repercussions with corporations and things like that, because you as an artist still have your passion for your work, the work that you're doing. Now, before I let you go, I did want to ask you, of course, the question that I've been asking everybody all morning long, and that is, what is your favorite figure that you have picked up in 2022?
Well, first, thank you for giving me the platform, Sam. And also my favorite figure of this year is from the Diaclone Tactical Mover subline. It's called the Tactical Carrier, and it's a truck that holds the Tactical Movers, Chariot, Gamma, and Treader airborne units into battle for deployment. But also the cab detaches and becomes an aircraft, and it is a versatile and modular truck that allows you to purchase expansion units to build upon the trailer. And I love it so much that I've designed a couple weapon racks for it. And who knew that I needed a little toy car or a decent sized toy truck in my life?
Well, I mean, it's interesting that you bring up Diaclone, because a lot of people are Transformer fans, and not a lot of people who are Transformer fans may not even know what Diaclone is. So it's just it's nice that you bring that up, and then that would be your top figure of 2022. And of course, mentioned before that you do make 3D prints and pieces for said Diaclones as well. And where can people find you online? You mentioned your company, Real American Designs, and I believe you do have social media as well. So where can people find you and be able to contract out your services for 3D printing and your own artwork?
So, the easiest way to find me for Real American Design would be on Instagram under DFS Infinite. And for my work on the zone project, you can find me on Cult 3D under DFS 00. And that's where you can get in touch with me regarding replacement parts for Diaclone and even download free expansion upgrades for some Diaclone units.
All right. And so once again, say those two places one more time, just so that the audience can hear it one more time.
Yes, Instagram DFS Infinity. No, sorry, the DFS Infinite, and on Cult 3D DFS 00.
Well, once again, I want to thank you for calling into the show. And like I said, setting the record straight. There's been a lot of brouhaha, and people have been sitting there getting in touch with me saying fake news, blah, 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 fake news, and throwing out, disgruntled that and disgruntled this. And so I appreciate you calling into the show, preparing a monologue, which included puppets, and then also, once again, setting the record straight for everything. So once again, I hope that you had a wonderful Christmas holiday. And I hope that you have an amazing New Year's Eve and a very productive and forward momentum 2023 with you, your business, your artwork, and all that you do for the custom and creative community. Absolutely. You have a good one. Everyone, that is DFS. Happy New Year to you, sir. Happy New Year to you. Once again, that is DFS Infinite. DFS Infinite here on the phone. The leaker for the Dragonfly. And like I said, that is the first interview that I think that we've been able to have. Of course, that would be here on broadcast radio. Broadcast radio being the place where we do have someone come in when they've been, of course, why would you wouldn't expect anything less of me being able to find who the actual leaker was and put them on the radio. Of course, everybody else sitting there speculating and saying this, that, and the third on all those toy simp websites and YouTube channels and all over the place. But then here I am actually doing all the hard work. 804-289-UR90, 804-289-8790. Top toys of 2022. Want to go back to the phone lines right now. Caller, you are live with the most trusted puppet in media. Reporting since Roswell, Sam Newsman. State your name and where you're calling from. From Los Angeles. You know, and you know, being from Los Angeles, I'm sure that you guys didn't have any of that nasty weather that was all over the place this past year, right?
To that rain, we got a little bit of the cold weather pushed down from the north, and you know what? It's getting a little bit chilly here in California.
Now you did mention some rain. Now, when it rains there, isn't that a problem? And you guys end up starting having a bunch of mudslides and all that other stuff.
Yeah, we actually live up by the mountains, so when there is rain, since we just had the fires a couple years ago, that does have some long-term effects. And when that rain falls, we do see a lot of mudslides, landslides. It does create a bit of a problem up here, but we're making it through. Nothing too bad this year, and we're trucking along, getting ready for the New Year's. How you doing, Sam?
Well, I'm doing fantastic until you try to call my phone when I'm trying to broadcast on Instagram, and then everything goes haywire. It's like, what if I were like next time that you're on with on Instagram with a big guest? What I'm going to do is I'm going to just start blowing up your phone and getting it to glitch out over and over and over again. So you have to restart your stream, and then you go back and do it again, and do it again, do it again, and next thing you know, my goodness, what are you doing? Good grief! But
Again, not the intention, but you know what? Instagram is a bit finicky sometimes.
You know, you're absolutely right about that, and I'll get back to the whole do not disturb thing. You know, one of the things that I do have going on here is I am broadcasting live at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on YouTube. So I did have a backup feed too. So if it was glitching out for everybody else, you know, they're able to come back and see. Now, you know, thanks again for calling. You know, I don't ever expect people on the West Coast to be able to call in right at the beginning of the show, which is why I do the show for 3 hours and maybe sometimes a little bit longer, because I want to give people out on the West Coast like yourself the opportunity to call in and be able to have a conversation here, like I said, live on broadcast radio. So once again, we are speaking with Collecting Classics. That is collecting_classics. Here you can find them on Instagram, also on YouTube. Is it Collecting Classics on YouTube as well? Are you still there?
For tonight, you got anything cooking for the New Year's party?
Well, I mean, I'll do something for the New Year's party, but one of the things before we get to New Year's parties, what I wanted to do is I wanted to ask you. Now, it's been an interesting year with toys, and of course, being the one who's collecting the classics, as it's all in the name. You've been collecting here for a while. You've been collecting for a while. You have an amazing collection, but I'm sure that you've had several figures that you've picked up this year that come to the top of your head as being some of the most impressive ones. So far be it from me to not ask you what your favorite figures are, because I really want to know, what are Collecting Classics' top figures of 2022?
All right, I like that question. You know, I've been hearing it circulate through the community on Instagram and YouTube. What's the best figure of 22? And it's very much like art. I think it's subjective to the collector. For me, I'm going to have to jump right in and just say it's not a figure at all. It's actually a statue. I'm a super fan of Tweeterhead and the Skeletor 1-to-1 bust that I acquired. And but if I had to go on the figure route, and I had to talk about action figures, the Masterverse line is simply blowing it out of the water. I'm loving everything they're doing, and I have to probably put Too Bad as my top figure because he's just so impressive and had that wow moment. And then I probably have to say Koldar from the Origins line, just because he's such a deep cut and it was the first time he's ever been released. And then probably gonna have to lean on my buddy Kenzo's Customs here with his 3D printed battle cat fighting. Those are my favorite figures I've acquired this year.
Well, it's interesting that you brought up Tweeterhead, and I'm glad that you did, because if you weren't going to bring that up, I was going to bring it up. But of course, you being, of course, a broadcast professional and a musician, and knowing all things of collecting, that you did bring that up as your top one. And of course, the Tweeterhead 1-to-1 scale Skeletor bust is quite an impressive piece. Quite an impressive piece. They did such an amazing job with that. And I don't know too many people with that piece. So I was really hoping that you would bring it up, because it is definitely one of those things that every time you go live and wherever, as long as the camera angle is in a certain position, and I see that bust, I tell you what, I am just in glowing awe of that amazing piece. Being a statue collector myself, have a couple of statues, sideshow statues, Tweeterhead statues as well. But that is an amazing piece, and I am really glad that that was the one that was made at the top of your list. I know it's not an action figure, but it's something that you picked up in 2022. And like I said, if anyone does have the ability to go check that out, it is Tweeterhead's 1-to-1 scale bust of Skeletor, which is incredible. Now, another thing that you mentioned was the Masterverse line, the Too Bad figure. The Too Bad figure. Saw when you were able to pick that up a couple weeks back and open that up live on a stream. Now, you do live streams every now and then, right? Isn't that correct?
We try to do live streams whenever we pick up new stuff for the channel, for the collection. And then for 2023, we're going to try to streamline our shows and really get a formula and set schedule lined up, so that way it's consistent and not just random willy-nilly.
Absolutely. And that sounds like a good idea. One of the things that I would like to maybe get in touch with you about is maybe just doing a news segment where we talk about news and action figures of the week. Be something I think that would be really good. A little bit of banter back and forth between yourself and myself, talking about news.
I have a second phone, so that way when we go live and do that stuff, I can just usually call you at the same time.
That would be great. And of course, well, what would happen is that people would then say, "Why is it glitching out? Why are you glitching out, Sam?" And and then and then at the end, just blame it all on Lord Blanket, because it's all his fault to begin with, anyways. Hell, it probably wasn't even you calling; it was probably Lord Blanket. Was it you back there doing all that back? It was, wasn't you? It was. My goodness, he put you up to it. Oh my goodness! You see, I knew about it. See, listen, it's not. It's just one thing when they sit there and pay for the advertising at the top of each hour, but now you're sitting there paying off guests to mess up the stream. I see how it is, Lord Blanket. I see you back there. Insane, ridiculous. Well, listen. I want to thank you for giving us a call. It's been such a pleasure watching the growth of your channel. Not only your YouTube channel, but the explosive growth that you've had on Instagram. Just started back in August, if I'm or September or August. Was it September?
And yeah, I really appreciate that, Sam. The community's been amazing. The response has been overwhelming, and we're just trying to keep up and hang on by our fingertips.
Absolutely. Well, you do a good job of just bringing back that nostalgia. You're very genuine. And a lot of times, the reason why I always say that the reason why people end up getting a following right out of the gate is because of people being authentic and their authentic selves. And if there's something that I can give you a comment on, it would just be how authentic that you are, for not only your love of collecting, but just with all of the people who show up, both in the chat and that you interview, and the conversations that you have that are just genuine from beginning to end. So, and I believe that, my friend, is probably one of the keys, if not the key, for your recent success. So I want to just commend you again for the rapid growth, but also for being genuine which is something that is
That means a lot, Sam. You know, and coming from you, that's a big deal, and I really appreciate that because you know what, you're out here delivering the news on the biggest type of scale all the way around, and you're consistent and you're a channel supporter, and I see you all the time over a bunch of channels, so you're a community uh, supporter kind of guy, you know, and you're an important part. We love you. And I just want to wish you the best, happy new year, and all the success for 23.
well. I want to thank you for that. It really means a lot for it's coming from you as well, someone who is very authentic. So I believe you're not pulling my leg. So if you were, you would be touching my amazing Jordans if you were, which that's okay too. Just make sure that you do wash your hands before you start pulling my leg. But what I do appreciate that. I believe that 2023 will be an amazing year, not only for you, for myself, but for collectors all over. And we will take the toy community to the next level because what we do here, both on my show here on the radio, and also what you do on your shows, is we set the standard and we raise the bar. And the reason why we do that, because when you set the standard, everyone else is just chasing the standard. But here you have set the standard and raised the bar, and you're now already chasing the bar that has been raised, while everyone else is chasing the standard that you've already set. Collecting Classics, I want to thank you again for coming in and joining into the show. Like I said, we'll get on to Lord Blanket about all that snafu stuff going on, but I do want to thank you again for calling in. And like I said, I wish you a very happy new year and a productive 2023.
My pleasure. And yeah, we're going to have fun this New Year's Eve. It's my 14th year anniversary with my partner. And so we're going to go celebrate and have a good old time. And we'll talk to you guys soon, all right?
Absolutely. Thank you again. Once again, that is Collecting Classics. You have a very happy new year. Happy New Year. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Collecting Classics. Collecting Classics. So I knew that it was Lord Blanket the whole time. You see, I was getting upset that it was him, and it was you back there. It was you that actually did all that, messing up everything at the top. Well, listen. I know that you're the one that always has access to the top of the hour with your advertising. That's what happens, right? So people end up getting access to advertising, and then they sit there and say, "Well, now I could just disrupt the whole show." Remember that time when they disrupted the whole show and they took over the soundboard? Yeah, I don't want you guys to start doing that again back there either. So, but anyways, Collecting Classics. You can follow him collecting_classics on Instagram and Collecting Classics on YouTube. Definitely a pleasure talking to them. And man, have you seen that Skeletor bust is bigger than I am. It is bigger than me. Well, Skeletor would be bigger. I mean, well, humans are bigger than me anyway. And, Skeletor being not even human, not even human, of course, it's going to be bigger than I am. But it's fantastic. It's got a great collection. I'm not sure about the Funko Pop thing. I mean, the Funko Pop thing. It kind of makes me wonder about that. But here we are once again. It is the Top Toys of 2022 edition. And one of the things that I did want to go over, of course, are my top toys of 2022. Numbers 5 through 1. Do we want to do that at the top of the hour? Do we want to do that? We'll come back and we'll do one more round. We'll do 30 more minutes, if you will. We'll do 30 more minutes at the top of the hour where I will give you. I know I was supposed to do the top 5 this hour, but once again, there was a bunch of disruptions from Lord Blanket. So because there's a bunch of disruptions from Lord Blanket, we weren't able to get to the top 5 toys. But let's real quickly go over the top numbers 10 through 6 again. Numbers 10, and like I said, we'll do a small music break, play some cartoon themes, and come back on the other side. 804-289-UR90, 804-289-8790. After I give my top 5, I'll open up the phone lines one last time at the top of next hour. After I give the numbers 5 through 1, I'll open up the phone lines one more time, have some people call in. You can call in, tell me what your favorite figure is from 2022. We'll try to get out of here at about 12:30. 12:30? We'll finish at around 12:30. So we'll finish around 12:30 today. But definitely going to come back on the break, on the other side of this break. Once again, all these disruptions from Lord Blanket got everything all screwy and haywire. Yeah, well, of course, I knew it wasn't Collecting Classics' fault. I should have known. Well, I did know. I knew it was you back there. It was you, Lord Blanket. I knew it. So real quickly, numbers 10 through 6. We said this last hour, but we'll rehash them one last time. Number 10, Desert Rat from Valaverse. Number 9, Leatherhead from Super 7. Monstar from Ramen Toy. Kentaro from Storm Collectibles. And Father Christmas, a.k.a. Santa Claus, from the Four Horsemen. That is number 10 through 6. We'll come back on the other side of this break with we have a phone call coming in. All right, one last phone call. We have another phone call coming in here real quickly. Let's see here. Let's take this call before we go. Caller, you're live here with the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, Sam Newsman. State your name and where you're calling from. Hello. Are you there? Caller. Caller, are you there? Well, I guess they're not there. Maybe they'll call back here in a second. Let's give them another 30 seconds. See if they'll call back here in just a moment. Well, I was going to go back to some cartoon themes. Well, that's exactly what I wanted to do. We have the cartoon themes pulled up? We do. Get a couple of cartoon themes here queued up. Do we have it? All right, we have that. Let's see. Are we going to do it? Well, I'm waiting to see if that caller is going to call back here. 804-289-UR90. 804-289-8790 to be a part of the show. Top 10 figures of 2022. We've given our 10 through 6. We're going to give our top 5 on the other side of the break. Then we're going to open up the phone lines at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on YouTube, at Sam Newsman Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, Twitter. We're all over the place. Just type in Sam Newsman on Instagram. On Google, and you'll be able to see me there. I want to thank, of course, DFS for being a part of the show this hour, and also Collecting Classics for setting the record straight. Both DFS for the HasLab leak, and also Collecting Classics letting me know that Lord Blanket is here messing everything up. So once again, you're listening to the only radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real puppet. We'll be back on the other side of the break with the top 5 toys of 2022. So don't turn that dial. Download the Simple Radio app, search WDCE to listen to the radio feed. And once again, at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on YouTube, for the only radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real puppet. From the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday morning.
And the masters of the universe. I am Adam, Prince of Eternia and defender of the secrets of Castle Grayskull. This is Cringer, my fearless friend. Fabulous secret powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said, "By the power of Grayskull,